Oh, here we go, baby. On a Thursday, February 9, 8, 9, or 10, I don't know. Um, where you are on the most incredible talk radio show, not just in America, not just on Earth, but on planet Vulcan. Um, Vulcan is actually in Andromeda, which is not the Milky Way. Different galaxy. There's only two galaxies, you guys. They're lying to you. And I, Clark the Shark, built both of them in a dream about 15 years ago. It's true, you guys. I woke up and I was having a dream, and I created the Sharkulation, which is a simulation that we're all living in. And, I got really bored once, and I created Humble Pie, As Safe as Yesterday Is. This album looks like a letter or a package, or like UPS or Amazon or FedEx or I don't know, 1969, long ago, way before all those, you guys. I don't know if it's before UPS. I think they were around, but Amazon wasn't in 1969, right here on the Clark the Shark Show at 1-800-449-8255. But this album is the real true hard rock out of England. To me, Clark the Shark, not really Led Zeppelin 1, or, Deep Purple or Black Sabbath or The Who live at Leeds or any of that, UFO, etc., etc. To me, hard rock that just kicks ass, that's really heavy, is Humble Pie, Steve Marriott, and Peter Frampton. Now, Steve Marriott, of course, was in the Small Faces. And when you think of the Small Faces, you don't really think like hard rock, heavy metal, or any of that. They were like a mod, bluesy, rock and roll, a kick-ass band, but a 1960s sounding rock band. They had a killer sound that was like ahead of its time or something, but I wouldn't really call it metal or hard rock or any of that. It's good rock. But this Humble Pie, these first three albums anyway, are right there with like Led Zeppelin, but beyond. They rock really hard. And it is because of Peter Frampton, you guys. But Steve Marriott definitely becomes a hard rocking superstar in this band. And it's a big change, complete total makeover from the Small Faces, you guys. Now, of course, the Small Faces without Marriott would become the Faces with, Kenny Jones and all that, McLaughlin, but they would add Rod Stewart and, of course, Ronnie Wood. And they would continue, that rock and roll bluesy tradition, like their happy little family they all go down to the pub and drink together, in London. I love the Faces, you guys. Of course, Rod Stewart, from not just the Faces, but also the Jeff Beck group Truth, he decided, you know what, I don't need any of these guys. I'm going solo. And that's what he did. The Faces were around for a bit in the 70s and all, but, they're fucking awesome. I love it. But when you think Rod Stewart, it's mainly Rod Stewart solo. There are some Faces songs, that but he decides, he's going solo and all that. But, and that's where all his big hits really are. But this little project here, Humble Pie, and this debut studio album, This is very interesting to me. Yours truly, Clark the Shark, right here from the Golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone. It's a solid gold Sharkerphone. It's not gold plated. I think in a recent video I said it was gold plated. It's not. It's solid gold. And it was given to me by Chick Hearn of the Los Angeles Lakers fame. The late, great Chick Hearn, when I was about 18, back in 1983, he gave me the Sharkerphone, and you know, he was like, Sharky dizzles, he dazzles, he puts people in the popcorn machine, the mustard's off the hot dog and all that. You guys, I fucking taught Chick Hearn all that stuff in the Sharkulation. He couldn't have been that wise without me. There's no way. He had to have learned it from a really intelligent source. And that could only be Clark the Shark about 1,733,000 years ago. That's where Chick Hearn got all his genius. But I don't think Chick Hearn is as genius as Steve Marriott, even though he did give me the Sharkerphone. Peter Frampton and Steve Marriott gave me Humble Pie, the debut album. Now, my version of this album was a scratchy vinyl bought at the Rhodium in Torrance. And it sounded great, though, on a really shitty record player back in the South Bay, about 1984 era, when I was 19. And I got into all these albums, and I used to tell people, I don't know why you're all into Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin is kind of stupid. The thing I like about Zepp isn't even Jimmy Page or Robert Plant. I like the fact that John Paul Jones and John Bonham are in Zeppelin, the rhythm section. To me, that is Led Zeppelin right there. But with Humble Pie, it's the guitar section, baby, the lead vocal section. But then again, I can say it's all in all. It's everything here. This album is so incredible. I think bands like The Who were intimidated by this album. And this is really why The Who went heavier. It wasn't because of Zeppelin. It was because of Humble Pie. And I think all bands they took a look at Humble Pie and they said, yeah, we got to rock hard like that band. That band is doing something really heavy, kick-ass, beyond blues, hard rock and blues. More committed than Steppenwolf, or Zeppelin or that, or, anything really. And I think, little side note here, you guys, I think David Bowie album 1970, The Man Who Sold the World, was really heavily influenced by Humble Pie. And of course, later on, Peter Frampton and David Bowie would become real good buddies. I think even way back then in 1969, 70, they might have been buddies even back then. I'm sure when Frampton and Steve Marriott heard that album, The Man Who Sold the World, they wanted to go be friends with David Bowie. A lot of people did, because that album is such a kick-ass album. It is hard rockin', bluesy, metal, you name it. It's killer. But I don't think even it is as committed and good as Humble Pie. And as safe as Yesterday is. This album, 1969, August 69, a turning point album, you guys. This album is super important for its boogie-woogie, blues-driven guitar, loud, kick-ass rock and roll, heavy metal. It's heavy. It's crushing rock. It is beyond what Wikipedia says. Every song here is amazing, you guys. I kind of wish Rod Stewart and the Faces could have kicked ass like this. Now, side one, Desperation, of course, the John Kay Steppenwolf song, redone here to perfection. I almost like this version more. Stick Shift by Peter Frampton, amazing. And Buttermilk Boy, Marriott. It's just fucking all killer here, you guys. This is bluesy, but growing closer, McLaughlin. And As Safe as Yesterday is the title track, Frampton and Marriott. Side one of this is just blistering kick-ass rock. And I think that band called The Darkness with Justin Hawkins, I don't know this for sure, but I know they got to love this album, especially side one. It's killer, It's everybody was influenced by this. Bang, Marriott. Side two doesn't get better, but is equal. Alabama 69, Marriott. That song fucking kicks ass. I'll Go Alone, Frampton. It's just all, I don't know what to say for this, a nifty little number. That's like me, Clark the Shark. I've written many of those and I forget a lot of them. I'll try to record them with like a little tape recorder or, It's not little, dude. It's 6'11", and it rocks. What You Will, Marriott, 420. Probably the best song on the whole album, you guys, on side two. Everybody in the band here is, this drummer's amazing, Jerry Shirley, and of course the bass playing is sick, dude, Greg Ridley. But of course, these two guys are rock and roll Hall of Fame legends, Marriott and Frampton. And Steve Marriott in The Small Faces, bluesy, mod, short hair, rock and roll guy, kicking ass, playing the blues rock. Is nothing like that in this band. He grows out his hair and he becomes just this fucking maniac. And he goes right with Peter Frampton. And they are a couple of just ass-kicking, guitar slinging warriors in Humble Pie. I'm sorry, you guys, but this album kicks Led Zeppelin and The Who's ass and everyone else. And I remember in the South Bay, people would listen to this album, As Safe as Yesterday is, and they would say, this is the most kick-ass album of hard rocking. I don't really want to call this heavy metal, but it almost is. It's blues rock, you guys. I can't call Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 heavy metal. It's kick-ass hard rock and blues rock. And even Black Sabbath #1, that's blues rock too. The Who live at Leeds, that's blues rock. Metal is very subjective. Judas Priest and the Scorpions and Iron Maiden are metal, but AC/DC is kick-ass hard blues rock, and you can tell that they are into Humble Pie. Steve Marriott, Peter Frampton. I don't want to call this the birth of metal, or kind of like Steppenwolf was. They really are the birth of metal. They are long before this, you guys. But this is definitely the birth of something like metal. This is blistering kick-ass rock and roll, one of the greatest albums ever recorded, certainly one of the greatest debut albums. As Safe as Yesterday is Humble Pie. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, your humble servant, me, Clark the Shark, is telling you to go buy this album tonight at Amazon, Spotify, and iTunes and learn about where bluesy hard rock really came from. Yeah, it was Steppenwolf. Yeah, it was The Who. It was the Yardbirds. It was the Music Machine and the Standells and the Count Five and the Haunted. Before them, it was the Kinks, Ray Davies and Dave Davies. But really, you guys, it was Humble Pie, As Safe as Yesterday is and was the debut studio album. And then after this, every album kicks ass like this. But they don't get better than this one, Humble Pie, you guys. Maybe Eat It does. I don't know. That's up to you. Peter Frampton's solo, interesting, you guys. Me, Clark the Shark, I like it. And when the Small Faces reunite later with Marriott, that's interesting too. But is it as good as Humble Pie, As Safe as Yesterday is? The debut album, 1969. No way. No way. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. This is one of the most incredible albums ever recorded in the history of all music, not just rock and roll, not just hard rock. And I'm going to review every Humble Pie album because I have to. And I feel that this band and this album influenced things more than anything, you guys. It's a debate in my mind. Is it Steppenwolf? Is it this? Is it the Electric Prunes, you guys? Is it the Count Five? Is it the Who, a quick one? I can't really say yes or no or maybe or put my finger on it, you guys. But when this album happened, there was a whole new invention of origination happening here. This had never been done before, you guys. At least not quite like this. Humble Pie, As Safe as Yesterday is the debut amazing album from one of the greatest rock bands in the history of all rock music. Fuck that, you guys. In the history of all forms of music, it is Humble Pie. These guys were there pretty much before everybody. Led Zeppelin was before this, but this does something that Led Zeppelin cannot and does not do. And I can't really explain that or put my finger on what it is or why or how. But it does, you guys. Listen to this album. It is so kick-ass, and it is so frenzied and full of energy, and it doesn't let up, you guys, from start to finish. This kind of reminds me of that band Captain Beyond. Kinda, not really. Captain Beyond has a lot of frenzied energy where they keep taking off like a rocket, and then they mellow out again, and then they take off again. This album doesn't really do that, but it does. You are like, this thing just slaps you silly and bangs your head. It just hits you upside your head, you guys. And you are mesmerized, and you are actually exhausted and tired after listening to this head-banging rock and roll experience. You are burnt out. You are burnt out and worn out after listening to Humble Pie. And I can't really say that about Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin 1 and 2. They're pretty good albums, you guys. And The Who, Live at Leeds, doesn't let up. It's fucking amazing. Black Sabbath 1, 2, and Masters of Reality are all fucking killer. And of course, Deep Purple, Machine Head, and even the stuff with Evans, before it, and Simper. That was incredible too. But there's something about Humble Pie where they are doing something that all these other bands aren't doing. And I think David Bowie knew that. That's why he wanted to be buddies with Peter Frampton. And everybody worships Steve Marriott as just a rock and roll genius, a god of rock, because of Humble Pie more than the Small Faces. And believe you me, right here on the Clark the Shark Show, the Small Faces were incredible. They were amazing. They got hit songs on the Billboard charts, but it was, rock and roll, catchy pop, bluesy, good shit. But it wasn't Humble Pie, baby. No way. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, and I want you to buy this album and all their albums. I do. At Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. If you're only 20 years old, right here in 2024, you were born in 2004, about 3 years after 9/11, when Mohammed Atta and those terrorists flew those jetliners into the World Trade Center Twin Towers. You don't even remember 9/11. You have no memory of it. You've only seen it on YouTube. Well, you, young person, are the one that I want to buy and listen to Humble Pie and get into this band completely. Don't listen to Taylor Swift. Fight the urge to listen to that, especially if you're a girl, if you're a female. Stop listening to that shit. It's not enhancing your life. She isn't a role model. Taylor Swift is probably going to end up lonely and husbandless. You guys think she's going to make it with this football guy. This football guy is going to wake up and realize he's just the latest thing. He's just the latest fling with her. Taylor Swift was probably raised poorly by her mom. She didn't go to church. She didn't believe in God or something, or maybe she did. But somehow she came out liberal and supporting Joe Biden. And if you're a little girl and you think that's cool because Taylor Swift is pro-choice, or, if you're going to base your vote on that, things like that, like Taylor Swift and all these girls on YouTube and TikTok want you to vote for Joe Biden based on stuff like that. Well, maybe it's because she's fly-by-night and promiscuous and she has no foundation. And the reason she isn't married and doesn't have children is actually her fault. Nobody raped her or anything like that. She chose it, you guys. She's a false role model. Don't worship someone like her. Now, if she gets married to the football guy and has kids and they're happily ever after, come and see me then. But until that day, I don't like fucking people like Taylor Swift who go out with 15 guys and they can't settle down. I don't respect that. I don't revere that. I don't regard that. I don't like that. And all you girls packing stadiums and arenas, worshiping someone with mediocre songs to actually poor songwriting material. The girl has no talent. Forget the fact that she isn't a role model or anything like that. I don't even fucking care about that right now. I'm talking about her talent. She doesn't fucking have any right here on the Clark the Shark Show. But Steve Marriott and Peter Frampton and Humble Pie, they got talent. They're the fucking thing you should be listening to right here on the Clark the Shark Show. I'm serious, you guys. I'm not kidding around here. I'm not fucking around. I'm telling you straight from the shark, straight from the heart. It's like a shot to the heart, and you're to blame. You give Sharky a bad name. That's right, you guys. Quit your fucking pathetic little lives. The way that YouTube and TikTok and Anderson Pooper at CNN want you to live. Don't do that anymore. Come to the Clark the Shark Show, baby, where you're going to learn about good, important shit like Humble Pie, Steve Marriott, Peter Frampton, incredible musicians. Yeah, go learn about Zeppelin and the Who and all that. Sabbath, Deep Purple. Be my guest. Aerosmith, I don't fucking care. But you got to learn where it all came from before, baby. The inventors, the originators, the foundation of hard rock and heavy metal. It's Humble Pie. It's this band right here. As Safe as Yesterday is. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255, from the fabulous, incredible, amazing, golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone. It's a Sharkerphone made of solid gold. And once again, it was given to me by Chick Hearn. The late, great Chick Hearn gave me the Sharkerphone. I'm serious, you guys. You better fucking listen to a guy that was christened by Chick Hearn of the LA Lakers fame, the announcer. He's one of the only guys better than me at the microphone than Clark the Shark. Him and Dr. Demento. Just those two, you guys. Everybody else, Tucker, Hannity, Hush Bimbo, Mark Levin, Wayne Gretzky, Greg Gutfeld, Jed the Fish, Mark and Brian, Kevin and Bean, Rick Dees, Mario Lopez. Fuck all them. You're going to listen to Clark the Shark because only Chick Hearn and Dr. Demento are above me. And I'll admit it, you guys, it's true. I'm no Chick Hearn. That guy was a fucking god at the microphone. But one thing Chicky Baby didn't have was the golden EIB Sharkerphone. Only I got that, baby, and you will only find that right here on the Clark the Shark Show. #1 worldwide at WABC Radio New York. #1 watched musician. All my music videos at Blogger, Vimeo. You guys all know them. She's a Bitch, It Ain't Easy, Brandy, Star, White Black Song. Keep fucking rocking them. I don't care if you do or you don't like my music or me, but I want you into Humble Pie, Peter Frampton, Steve Marriott. This band is more important than me, Clark the Shark. This band is more important than The Who, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin. Maybe there's a debate, you guys. Steppenwolf or Humble Pie. I can't decide. They're both fucking amazing, you guys. I want you into both. There's something about this band. They started something like glam. They did something, dude, that Steppenwolf doesn't do, that The Who don't do. Humble Pie, baby. You heard it on the Clark the Shark Show. And I'm out of here. Peace.